Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that facilitated this for us. And then they continue, وَمَا كُنَّا لِنَهْتَدِيَ لَوْلَا أَنْ هَدَانَ اللَّهِ. That we would never have been guided, we would have never have made it to Jannah, we would never be here had it not been for the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on that note, we say this every single Friday, because just like those people will say that in Jannah, it is just as appropriate for us to say that here. Because we may think, I may think, I took off from work today, that's why I'm here. Negotiated with my boss, give me an hour off on Fridays, that's why I'm here. I move my schedule around, that's why I'm here. But the fact of the matter is, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not guide you to be here, if He did not facilitate it for you to be here, you would have found every other excuse. You would have found every other place to be. You would have found every reason for you not to be here on this day of Jumu'ah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitated for you and me to come here, to fulfill this obligation, to engage in His remembrance. And whether you have never missed a Jumu'ah in your life, or whether you've missed past years worth of Jumu'ah and this is your first one in a long time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has invited you nonetheless to His house, to engage in His remembrance. It doesn't matter what happened before, this is what matters now, that on this day of Jumu'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided you to come here. And for that we say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And we continue today's reminder, one of the most powerful surahs in the Quran, Surah Al-Waqi'ah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes so many things, but I just want to focus on the first couple of ayat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes groups of people for us. And He describes, subhanahu wa ta'ala, 3 groups of people. Now right off the bat, it's something unusual, because usually in the Quran, usually when we talk about the akhirah, it's usually 2 groups of people. It's a binary concept. There's people who make it to Jannah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of them. And then there's people who don't. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. The people of the left, the people of the right. In most places in the Quran, it's just these 2 groups. But here in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا, that it's 3 groups. And then He elaborates, as He does in other places, that the first 2 groups, the people of the right, and then the people of the left, the people who have succeeded, and the people who are amongst the losers on that day. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. But then He brings this 3rd group of people. He says, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. That this 3rd group of people is so special to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He doesn't even include them within that first group. That first group is the people of Jannah. So technically they are of that first group. But they are so beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves these people so much that He puts them in their own category, a whole nother group just for these people. And He calls them وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ, the first, the forerunners, the trendsetters, the السَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. And what does this exactly mean? And there has been much discussion on what this exactly means. Some ulama have said that it's those people that were the first to accept Islam. Those people when there wasn't enough Muslims to fill the first row here, or to fill the first floor here. Those people that came to Islam then, when you weren't joining a family of 2 billion, it was just a couple of people that believed in this man Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that believed in the message that he brought. They say it's that first special group of people is وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. But then some other of the ulama have taken a more general approach, and that which most accept is that what made those people special? It was of course that they accepted Islam when nobody else would. But the more general concept is that they saw something good and they accepted it right away. They saw something good and there was no hesitation. They saw this man Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam bring them something good, bring them a better way of life, bring them a just way of life, and they accepted it right away. They didn't care that it was only a handful of people. They didn't care that it was going against the grain of the society they were in. They didn't let any of that stop them. They saw something good and they accepted it right away. And that quality, we don't have the ability anymore to be amongst the first to believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Me and you don't have that ability. But the ability to accept something, the ability to do something, to learn of something good and be able to do it right away without any kind of hesitation, that's something every single one of us still have. That's a door that's still open to us to be amongst this was-sabiqun as-sabiqun, to be amongst these people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives this whole new category for. But what we find, unfortunately nowadays, is we read about these stories, these people that had no hesitation. And when I say no hesitation, I mean doing something is just second nature. Like just the way you get into your car, you put it in drive and you drive out the parking lot. No, you don't think about it, you just do it. Think of something, think of people, and people like this still exist, that when they see something good, an opportunity for something good, that's how they act. A good cause needs money, they don't even think about it. They learn of something, of a sunnah that is not in their lives, it gets implemented right away. They don't even think about it. It's second nature. Just like you're shifting the gears in the car. You don't even think about it anymore. And that is that category of people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about. And we find today that there is such a contradiction in how we live. You go to any of the most competitive, the most prestigious fields, and you'll find Muslims amongst them. They're sitting here right now in this masjid. Whether it be medicine, whether it be engineering, you think about anything. You go into those hallways, in those offices, you'll see Muhammad, Abdullah, you'll see Muslim names amongst them. We are some of the hardest working people, if not the hardest working people in this society. People come from overseas, and despite whatever level of education they had, they will work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, work until they're not getting any sleep to provide that better life for their children. They have that mindset. We have that mindset of bettering ourselves, of going after what we want. And there's nothing wrong with that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to have ihsan in everything we do. When we have an opportunity to better ourselves, we have no hesitation. If I see a better investment opportunity, there's no hesitation. Just like I'm changing the gears on my car. I don't think about that. But those same exact people, me and you, when an opportunity for something good comes along, when that investment opportunity comes along, I just give my money, I open up my pocketbook. But when the time comes to give charity, I start thinking, how much money is exactly in my bank account? Can I actually afford this? When it comes time, when we learn a new sunnah, take anything for example, when we learn anything, that you should pray 2 rak'at after this, or you should fast on these days, start thinking, oh, what is my blood sugar really? Can I really do this? Do I even have to do this? So it's the same people, me and you, that we don't accept anything but the best for ourselves when it comes to our careers. We will accept the bare minimum when it comes to our deen. The same people that won't accept the second best school or the second best position. When it comes to our deen, we're okay with just the bare minimum and that's it. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about as-sabiqun, they were the exact opposite. There was no hesitation in this religion. No hesitation whatsoever. So if we are somebody, and I speak to myself first, we think about how our lives are outside of the masjid. If I am somebody that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me, I've gone to school, I've graduated now, promotion after promotion, I have the big house, I have the big car, and I've demonstrated to myself that I can go out and do this. I can go out and win. I can be successful. But I am that same person who for the past 10, 20, 30 years, how my connection with the Quran, how my salah, how it was 30 years ago is the same exact way it is now, then how am I okay with that? When it came to my career, I'm willing to seize every opportunity. But how much Quran I knew when I was 20, now I'm 40, 50, I know the same exact amount. How I felt in my salah, that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when I first learned how to pray when I was 9, 10 years old, it's the same now. I don't feel any different. I don't know what the Fatiha means still, and I recite it all day. I can't open up the Quran and feel a connection to it. The same exact way I was 20, 30 years ago. We are the same people. The same person that when it comes to my children, I will do after school tutoring. I will do whatever it takes to make sure my kid gets into the best college, the best medical school, best law school, whatever it is. But when it comes time to ensuring the faith of our children, I'm not willing to put in that effort. And we can say this as much as we want, that yes, religion is important to us, this deen is important to us, but our actions speak much louder than just our words. And when we constantly make this our life, when our life constantly becomes, by our actions, we're always putting everything else first. The religion, the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always taking a back seat. I think about everything else first. The effect of living a life like this does not just end with you. On you, on a personal level, it is detrimental, but it is not finishing there. And remind ourselves of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's sitting with the Sahaba. And like we talked about in the beginning, this is a time when maybe not enough Muslims to even fill this masjid. And he's saying that there will come a time when the nations will gather against you and cut you up and split you up amongst themselves like people at a dinner table. And he's telling the Sahaba this, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the Sahaba, they're so perplexed because remember, they are that category we spoke about, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. So they're the go-getters. They're the ones that when they hear something, they don't hesitate. So they can't even imagine that a day would come when Muslims would be like this. So they try to think to themselves that why would this happen? So they asked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that is it because there's going to be very few of us? Because that's the only thing logically that makes sense to them. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says no. In fact, you'll be much more than you are now. But your numbers will be like nothing more than the foam in the sea. It won't matter. Goes this way, goes that way, no one pays it a second thought. It won't matter at all. And I ask myself and ask you, is that what we see now? 2 billion people, but is that what we see now? We see what's going on in the world. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells them, they ask him sallallahu alaihi wasallam that why will we reach that state? Why will this happen to us? And he responds sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because in your hearts, the love of dunya will penetrate. The love of dunya will penetrate your hearts. It's going to take priority above everything else, right? The deen will always take a back seat. وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. Instead of being the go-getters, instead of being the trendsetters, instead of not hesitating when it comes to my religion, I'm going to do that with everything else. I'm going to do that with the dunya. And he said, because of this love of dunya and this hatred of death, you don't want to leave this place because you've made this place into a paradise for yourself. You've worked so hard to make this place into a mini Jannah for yourself. So you don't want to think about that. You don't want to leave this place, no matter how much we can say, how many good things we can say standing up here. We don't want to leave this place. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that when that love of the dunya enters your hearts, these numbers won't mean anything. They won't mean anything at all. You'll just be like the foam in the sea. So I ask myself and all of us here today, have we become like that foam in the sea? Do our numbers mean anything? On a local level, on a worldwide level, do they mean anything at all? And if you realize that it doesn't, we see what's happening, then look inside yourself and say, have I become one of these people? Am I that person that's worked so hard, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, worked so hard on my career? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if at the same time, for decades on end, my relationship with Allah has not changed, my relationship with the Book of Allah has not changed, I'm not learning anything new, I'm not doing anything extra, complete stagnation, complete bare minimum for decades of my life. If that is my life, then with my actions, what am I demonstrating? What are my priorities really? When am I going to change? When am I going to become more than just this foam in the sea? And another very scary thing to ask ourselves is that if we are so happy with the bare minimum that we're not willing to improve ourselves in any way, for the next generation, what do we think will happen? If they see that mom, dad, abu, ammu, mama, baba, if they're fine with just a bare minimum when it comes to this religion, what will they accept for themselves? Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides who He wills. But just statistically, what will they accept from themselves? And I can almost guarantee you that their bare minimum will be a lot lower than your bare minimum. If your bare minimum is praying 5 times a day, their bare minimum maybe not praying at all. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that a time will come. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that a time will come when people will say, there will be people that say La ilaha illallah and have no idea what it means. And when another person asks them, what does this mean? They will say, I really don't know. It's just something that I know my grandfathers, they used to say this, La ilaha illallah, but I actually have no idea. If we accept that bare minimum for ourselves, this is what we are setting ourselves up for. We'll end with the story of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. When it comes to speaking of these people that didn't accept the bare minimum, as-sabiqun as-sabiqun ulaika al-muqarrabun. He exemplified this radiallahu anhu. And there was a time when he is sitting amongst a group of companions with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet Muhammad tells him and everybody else around them that on Yawmul Qiyamah, Jannah will have gates. And each gate will call out to people based on who is deserving of that gate. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us deserving of this. And he said there will be the gate of Salah, and the people that excelled in that gate itself will call out, enter Jannah. Beautiful picture that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is painting. There will be the gate of fasting, and the gate of fasting will call out for those that fasted a lot and tell them to enter Jannah. And he goes down all the good deeds that you can imagine, gates for every single thing, and people are walking in droves. And think of our mindset. I speak to myself first. We're just happy, can I just get into any gate? Crawling, whether they call me or not, I just want to get into the gate. But Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and this is somebody who multiple times in his life was already promised Jannah. He was already promised that you're going to get in there. He asks the Prophet ﷺ, is there anyone that will be called from every single one of those gates? Meaning he's not okay with the bare minimum. He's not even okay with a little bit more than that. He wants to be the one that gets called from every single gate. That's the standard he sets for himself. That's the standard he sets for his religion. That's the standard he sets for his deen. Radiallahu anhu. And because he set that standard for himself, what is the response that he gets? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, yes, there will be people, and you are one of them. Radiallahu anhu. That you will be one of them. But he didn't get that without striving for it. He didn't get that by not pushing himself at every opportunity he got. That concept of no hesitation, doing things like not even thinking about it, he exemplified that. When the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came to him and said that I received revelation from Allah, he accepted it right away, no hesitation. When it was told to him that, oh, your Prophet says that he went to Baytul Maqdis, he went to Jerusalem and came back overnight, he accepted it right away. He said, if he said it, then it's true. When they came to him and said, we're going to go out to battle, we need to raise money for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who's going to come forth? He came forth with everything he had. No hesitation, no second thoughts. How do we compare? How do we compare when that opportunity presents before us today? We see what's going on in the world right now, and we always ask ourselves, what can we do? And one of the biggest things we can do, brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring ease, but one of the biggest things we can do is become people whose du'as are accepted. Look into your life. What kind of person do you want to be? Look into our lives today and just reflect on, what am I doing that I can fix to become the kind of person whose dua is accepted. And if you can sit there and identify some of those things, let today be the day that you do it without any hesitation. If you can make that switch flip where these things become second nature for you, you will be a person whose dua is accepted. You will be amongst the sabiqun as-sabiqun. You will be amongst them. Think about your relationships. Do I have the same bad or not so great relationship with my parents for the past decades? Fix that today. No hesitation. Do I know enough about the deen of Allah to actually practice it properly? Fix that today. Don't hesitate. We never know when our time will come. But as long as we work towards that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can and will make us amongst this third group of people, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. And He ends subhanahu wa ta'ala, أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ, that these are the people that will be brought especially close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us people who strive in their deen, if just as much as, if not harder than they strive for their dunya. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring victory and assistance to all our oppressed brothers and sisters around the world, especially those in Gaza and Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy on them. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.